Hey, Mark here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a poker CoPilot that's going to help you improve your poker game by sitting beside you, making recommendations of the best play, and educating you by providing explanations of why that play is the best play. So this is what we're going to be building. We have our poker CoPilot on the right hand side here, which is making recommendations based on what it sees on the screenshot that you send to ChatGPT. So in the UI, we get to select the window that we want to send. So we're going to send obviously the poker window, and we get to select the hand history so that ChatGPT can use that hand history to gauge how different styles of play for the different players and maybe make more customized recommendations based on how that player plays. So for example, here you can see in this one, the action was with our king queen before the flop was to raise 25 cents, and it says, the explanation says, you're on the button with a strong hand, king queen offsuit. Raising 25 cents helps exert pressure and maintain an aggressive position while isolating Zermi. The hand history shows that Zermi has been consistently raising but not overcommitted, which suggests taking an aggressive line is beneficial here. So that's a great recommendation. And of course, like I say, we're doing it retrospectively with a hand replayer here, but you could do this with a live poker window as well if you really wanted to. Of course, check out the terms and conditions for this if playing in a live poker game. Just to show you how that works end to end, this is what it happens when you first load up the poker CoPilot. You then go and select a window, select the hand replayer, and it shows the screenshot of the hand replay. Select the hand history, so you go into there, you can select your hand history again. It shows you, make sure you've selected the right hand history, and then when you're happy, you can go and click send, and it'll make a recommendation based on what it sees in the play and in the hand history file. So this is what we're going to build today. Sounds fun, right? Let's get into it. If you're interested in this automation and grabbing hold of the unbelievable opportunity that exists today for AI automators, then I recommend you check out my Skool community, where you can download this blueprint and many more and be up and running in a matter of minutes. It's this simple. Navigate to the blueprint you want to download in the Skool community. Go over to make.com and select import blueprint, and you're ready to go. In the Skool community, we also have automation learning materials and access to a full calendar of events, including masterclasses, Q&As, co-working sessions, and live streams. When it comes to AI automation, if you want to up your game, then this community is for you. Head over to skool.com/AI-automations to get started. Now back to the video. And just one last thing before we get started, just want to apologise for the audio quality at the start of this video. It does improve after a few minutes, but I only just noticed it in the editing process, so apologies once again. I hope it doesn't spoil your enjoyment. Enjoy the video. So here we are in Cursor AI. I'm going to assume some knowledge of Cursor. If you don't have any knowledge of it yet, check out the last video. It's just a short video which covers the basics of Cursor AI and how you use it. So I'm not going to go into that again right here. We're going to get straight into building our poker CoPilot. So I'm going to open the terminal to start with, and I'm just going to make a new directory for our poker CoPilot. So let's call it poker CoPilot. I'm going to open the folder up here. Poker CoPilot, open. Then Command L to open up our chat window. We've got Clause 3.5 Sonic selected, and we're going to start with this. Okay, so I've written, help me create a Mac app that simply has a button that sends hello world to a webhook. The webhook address is, we're going to go and create this webhook in make.com now, so that we've got an address to add into the chat window here. This is simply for us to make sure that everything's working, make sure that our app can talk to make.com, and we're just going to get that started and set up first, and then once we know that that's working, we can then start moving on to the functionality. So now I'm going to go over to make.com, and we're going to get our webhook address that we can put into our chat window here. So just in Make here, I'm going to create a new scenario. I'm going to name that scenario Poker CoPilot. It's very slow today. Bear with me. Webhooks, custom webhook. Add a new webhook. I'm going to call this Poker CoPilot. Call this Skool demo. If you've not checked out our Skool community, go check it out in the description. So Poker CoPilot Skool demo, save. We're going to copy the address here of the webhook. Copy address on clipboard. We're going to go back over to Cursor now and paste this into our chat window. Okay, so I'm just going to paste the address in here. And actually, I'm going to specify that we want to use some technology called Electron. So Electron is an open source platform that allows you to develop apps cross-platform. So when you run this app, you'll be able to run it on Windows, you'll be able to run it on Mac, you'll be able to run it anywhere. So we'll use Electron. We're going to ultimately want to send this data as JSON, so we'll just ask that for that now in that format. So please send the data to the webhook JSON format. Okay. Okay, so it's suggesting that we make a directory, go into that directory. We're already in that directory. So what we can do is we can do this thing. So if I do npm init try, great, and then we can go install Electron. Oops, I've got the npm. So npm install Electron access. Okay, and that's now installed. So it's created a whole bunch of files here for us as part of that installation process, which we're going to need to run Electron and Node. So we can close this terminal now. And here's the files that it's created: main.js, and we've got index.html, render.js, and package.json. We're going to run this here. Sorry, we're going to apply these, and the files will get added to our project. You can accept on that. Into the HTML file. And then the JSON. Accept those changes too. Okay, so it says to run the application, save all these files in your project directory, which we've done. Open terminal and navigate to your project directory. Run npm install and run npm start to launch the app. And then it should work. It also gives some instructions if you want to distribute this app. So if you want to not do this stuff, we just want to put more apps that we install in the normal way. And we can do that with these additional features once we're at the end. And so what we're going to do is we're going to save this file. We're going to open up our command window again. We're going to say npm install to install the dependencies. Okay, that's good. And then we do npm start. Okay, so now we have an application running with our button, which is what we hope for. Let's see if it actually sends any data to the webhook. Okay, it has. Message sent. Let's go over to our browser and I can show you that. Okay, so if we look at our webhook here over in Make, we can see we've got the message hello world, which is what we were after. Great, so now we can start adding some more of the functionality. So what we're going to do next is we're going to just complete the make scenarios so that we can receive any data that we want to from our app. So here, and just putting a JSON parser because we know that data is going to be sent by JSON. We'll parse JSON, and the string will be from here because we're going to have more than one piece of data being passed back to us ultimately. So we want it to be in JSON format. And we're going to have ChatGPT, create a chat completion. Okay, we're going to use Chat 4.0 latest, which is the latest model from ChatGPT. Add message, role user. Text content. Okay, so I've just pasted in some code that I've used previously to save some time. So what we've got here is view the following poker hand history and make recommendations on how to play the hand in the image. Be very specific, don't give a range of options, it should be a short message as shown in the examples below. Underneath the recommendation, add a break, so we need to take this HTML format that we want it, and an explanation of why you've made the recommendation. Examples of answers might be fold, raise 50, call. This is the format. Action, raise 50, explanation, you're out of position, etc. Note that we are playing no limit hold'em, so we can bet any amount, not just what is shown on the screenshot. Also, note that we are playing a cash game. Please output the response in HTML format. So we can get it looking nice. And then the hand history, we're going to want to insert there, but we don't know what that is yet. And also in a minute, we're going to want to match the image file to the data that we received from the webhook. So we're going to leave that blank for now. Click OK. And at the end here, we're going to want to have a webhook response. So this is what's going to send back the result of what's said in here. So what we put in, we get the result of what comes out of ChatGPT, which is a recommended action and also an explanation of why we should take that action. So let's click OK. So now we just want to send some more data to the webhook so that we can map those fields when they come into ChatGPT and the webhook response. So let's unlink that. We'll run this here, and then we'll go and implement some more of the application in Cursor. Okay, so let's close this console here. Okay, so we're going to provide as much detail as we can here, and we're going to try and get it to all in one go. So we're going to ask for a lot of functionality all in one go here. But I found that the more that you give context to what it is that you're trying to build, the better results you get overall. So what we've put here is we are now updating this application to be a co-pilot and training tool for poker players. Data is sent to the webhook where ChatGPT will make a recommendation on how to play the poker hand and respond via a webhook response to the recommended play. The app should provide the following functionality. 1. Allow the user to select a window on the machine to send to the webhook. Take a screenshot of the selected window and send that data to the webhook. The window will be hosting the poker app. Allow the user to select a hand history file so that this can inform ChatGPT of a certain player's style of play. This file should also be sent to the webhook, and accept a webhook response and show the response in the application. So that's a lot to ask all in one go, but let's give it a go and see what happens. Okay, so we've got some updated files here. I help you modify the application to include these features. We'll need to add several new dependencies, modify our existing files. So here's the package.json. This is the main.js, index.html, renderer. Okay, and let's run. Okay, so now if I go to select poker window, there you go. I've got some options here now. So I don't want any of those because I haven't got a poker window open yet. Select hand history. So I should be able to go into the hand history, so that's good. So I'll click get advice. Okay, yeah, so clicking get advice actually sent data to the webhook, which I'll show you now, but that raised an error, but that's fine. Let's go and check that out. Okay, so now we're getting this data sent successfully to the webhook, but we've got missing value JSON. So what we're saying is this is invalid JSON in here as well. This isn't actually being sent as JSON by the looks of it. Well, it is, but it's just not formatted in a way that this parse JSON module can receive. So I don't think we actually need to pass that though, because I think we can just pass that straight through. It looks like it's providing it in a format that we can. So if we're going to here, into OpenAI, or ChatGPT, what we're going to do is pass it that hand history, which seems to be getting passed through now. So if I go to hand history here, I'm going to add in the image file here as well. So we can go and give this a file name. So this can be hand history .png, and the image data, actually we've got this in base 64 format, so we actually need this in binary format. So we're just looking okay here and try and update our app to say that. So let's save this and go back to Cursor. Okay, let's just ask for the code to be updated then. Update code so that the image is sent to the webhook in buffer/binary format. So let's give that a go. So apply that. Accept those changes, save. We're going to run. Okay, so let's go through the whole process again. So select the window. At the moment, we're not going to select a poker window because we don't have it open, but it doesn't matter at the moment. And then select hand history, there, and then get advice. So the advice sent successfully. Let's go over to Chrome now and check that out. Okay, let's run that. Hopefully that code will be picked up. Use existing data. Okay, that potentially looks good. Our screenshot is now in binary format, so we can use that. Hand history is here, which is perfect. So let's go into here. So hand history here. And now we can go down to image data, and we can go files, data. Click OK. Okay, and finally the webhook response is the action here. So let's click OK. Hopefully that webhook response, why did it fail last time actually? Okay. It's because we did not have it running when we received the data. So let's try again whilst we're receiving the data. It's going to get confused if we'll give it a proper screenshot in a sec. Let's just check this one through. Okay, that seems to have worked. Now we do have a recommendation here, which is quite interesting considering we didn't send a real screenshot, but we did see the hand history, so it probably made a call on what was in the hand history. So it said the action is to call. There is a small raise, and you want to see how the opponent will act post flop. The hand has potential to develop into a flop. Develop on the flop, given its reasonable strength. So, well, that sounds good, except we didn't give it a proper screenshot. So let's give it a proper screenshot now, and let's see how that goes. What I also notice here is that the recommendation isn't posted back here to the app. So we'll just get Cursor to update the code to make sure it does that. Please update the code so the whip-up response is displayed in the app. Currently the response is not shown. Okay, so apply these changes. Okay, save that. Okay, so I've just found this tool to allow you to replay hands. Obviously you can play this live, or you can just use it to replay hands for educational purposes. So if you take a look at this with a hero down here, I purposely played this hand badly, but just played it to the end, all the way to the river, to see what advice ChatGPT gives us. So this is the window, the screenshot that I'm going to share with ChatGPT. So we can see that we have somebody's raised here. We've got two folds. They've not got cards, so we're hoping that gets picked up. We've got Queen 10. So what should we do in this position in the big blind? So yeah, let's see what happens when we run this through ChatGPT. Okay, after our last request for changes, I can see that we've got a response thing here. I think it's forgotten that it actually did this recommendation piece here. It looks like it's going to put the response down here, hopefully. So we're going to select the window now. So we can select our hand replayer, which is this one, which is ironically called Poker CoPilot, which I didn't know existed until we did this. So we've got the same name of the app now. That's the hand history. And then we're going to say get advice. So this is loading. Okay, it's doing it. It's working in the background. Okay, this is not in very tidy format, but it says fold, which I do not agree with. Your opponent's large raise indicates a very strong hand, and King Queen offsuit is not strong enough to call an all in here. Well, it's not all in, especially with no pot equity. Folding avoids unnecessary risk. So it definitely doesn't seem to understand the position that we're in here, because we are not in, there is not a 4-bet raise. So let's see if we can get to better understand our instructions here. Okay, so we'll look at our instructions for ChatGPT here. It does seem to understand some stuff though, because it noticed that we were on King Queen offsuit. So maybe it doesn't recognize the image, because before I was using the PokerStars replayer and that seemed to work okay. But maybe it doesn't recognize, maybe it's more familiar with screenshots from the web of PokerStars potentially. Let's have a look at this though, see if we get it fixed. So it might be getting confused with the hand history suggestion here. So what we can do is say this, it says view the attached image, which is of a poker hand. Make a recommendation on how we should bet on the bet given the situation. Also attached is the hand history, which could be used to give an indication the player's style of play. Okay. Note that the dollar values under each name shows how much they have left in their stack. Bets shown on So maybe we just need something a little bit more specific for this screenshot. Let's see if that works any better. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to run that, and we'll go back to our app and see if we can get something else. Okay, so that's much better. I will show it on here. So the action now is call. The opponent has made a small raise from 5 to 10 cents, which is a reasonable position for continuation hand given their successful prior wins. Holding king queen offsuit. This is a solid hand with potential, and the folding here would be too tight. However, going all in would be risky given the opponent's pattern of possibly holding strong hands or attempting to push us out. We can afford to call and see a flop. So I'm not sure about that. I mean, I'm not the best poker player in the world, but I still think a raise is probably better there. Maybe it's putting too much weight on the hand history because there wouldn't be much in there because it's only a few hands. If I say ignore the hand history, I wonder if it actually comes up with something different. It should be interesting. It's obviously something that you could tweak. So cut that. Okay, ignore the hand history file. It's not relevant. Right now. Okay, let's give that a go. Try to give us a different piece of advice this time around. Okay, so wait for new data. Get advice. Okay, so it still says a call. With king queen in position and already facing a relatively small raise, you have strong equity against raising range of your opponent. Calling keeps the pot manageable and allows you to see the flop with a solid holding. So, you know, maybe that is the best option. I'm going to go back and put that hand history thing in there as well, back in there again. But let's see if it actually does further recommendations that seem to be in line and fit. I'm going to paste that back in. Save that. So what we actually did here was we raised. There was a fold. There was another fold. Oh, actually this player went all in at this point. I didn't realize it was going to be such a quick hand. So let's see if it recommends that we call. Probably not, I would suggest. So let's run that and then we'll go back to our app. Okay, so we're going to send that screenshot now. Okay, so there you go. So it says fold, explanation. Zermi has gone all in for $5.96, representing a very strong hand. With only king, queen offsuit, you are likely to be behind, and risking your entire stack in such a marginal spot is not ideal. Folding preserves your remaining chips for better opportunities. So there you go. That is probably a good move, I would suggest. So let's see if we can tidy this up and make it a little bit more usable. So what we're going to do is going to ask Claude for a whole lot of changes all in one go again and see how it handles that. But so things I think we want to change is this window selection. As nice as it is to have this visual view, it's pretty ugly. You can't close this box off here. I think what I want to do is just be able to have a drop down box that selects the window there. So, and maybe ultimately have a thumbnail of the image after you've selected it so that you can see that you've selected the right window there. So I'm going to ask for that to be a drop down box. I'm going to just say when you select the hand history, that the name of the file is then shown in the UI after you've selected it, so you can see which file you selected, such as confirmation that you've selected the right file. I'm going to change the get advice button to just send, because get advice I just prefer send. I'm going to get this part of the UI removed. We're no longer using this. I think this was originally where it was going to put the AI response, but a few changes down the road it forgot about that and then ended up putting it here. So I'm just going to get this piece removed here. Going to change the word response to recommendation, just sounds better. I'm going to make sure that the UI can accept HTML in the response, because at the moment it's just got horrible characters in there. Obviously you want that to look nice and be formatted correctly, so we're going to get that. And I'm going to ask it to stack the UI elements on top of each other, because If you're playing poker, or if you, it would just be better to have more space to have the window, the poker window, and the CoPilot side by side. So I'm going to ask you to stack all the controls on top of each other, so you have a nice thin, long user interface rather than a wide one. So I'm going to get it, see if it can do that for us, and then I'm going to get it to change the UI style to maybe look a bit nicer, to match something else that looks like this. So I'm going to send Claude this screenshot and ask it to pick up the colors and the sort of style of the UI design and see what it comes up with, see if we can make it look a bit more pretty. Okay, so I said, all working, thank you. Please can you also make the following changes. 1, change the window selection to a drop-down box. Show a thumbnail if the screenshot once selected. When a hand history is selected, show the name of the file in the UI. Change the AR recommendation box from the UI as, remove the AR recommendation box from the UI as this is no longer needed or no longer used. 5, change the word response in the UI to recommendation. And make sure the UI can accept HTML as a response. It's currently showing all the HTML elements as odd characters, e.g., and I've put the example in there. And then 7, stack the UI elements on top of each other so the UI is narrow and long. And then change the UI style and colors to match the image attached. So that's a lot of changes, but some of them are a lot of them are very basic, like changing a word here and there. So I'm hopeful we can get through most of it here and it's still functional at the end of it. So let's see what comes out. So apply those. Okay, so I'll accept those. It's got main.js to update as well. Accept those. Okay, replace window selection dialog with a drop down. Added thumbnail preview for selected window. Added file name display for selected hand history. Change get advice button to text to send. Removed AI recommendation box. Change response to recommendation. Updated response handling to properly render HTML. Stacked UI elements vertically. Updated styling to match the dark theme with blue accents from the image. Great. Made the UI narrow with a max width of 400 pixels. The UI now has a dark theme with blue accents, properly handles HTML responses, and has more streamlined vertical layout. Let me know if you need any further styling adjustments or functionality. Well, that looks good. Hopefully, that is what we want. So let's save that. Let's run it again. See how it looks. Okay, well, that certainly looks like a lot nicer straight away. So let's see if it works. So if I'm going to select a window here. Disappointing. I can't actually select the window. The windows are not shown in the drop down. So that's something we need to fix. Select hand history. Okay, we can still go ahead and do that. That works. Does it show the file name? It doesn't. It's still got these strange characters afterwards. So, okay, so we need to fix that. Let's just check that the message still sends. So let me just start the webhook in the background. Click send. So I can't select a window first. Okay, so let's just make those couple of changes. Hopefully we can get that fixed pretty quickly. Okay, so I've asked, when clicking the select window drop down, there are no windows listed. Please make, okay. And I'll put make sure to show the thumbnail under the button. So I want just to clear up where I want that to be shown. I don't want to put it inside the button or something strange like that. So listed, please fix so that windows are shown in the drop down. When selecting the hand history, the file name is not shown in the UI. Show this under the button. After clicking select hand history, the button has strange characters added to the end of the button as shown in the attached image. Please can we make sure this does not happen? I think that just happens when, I think it's trying to show some sort of indication that the file's been selected or a file's been selected, but it's not coming out properly. It's coming out as funny characters. So we'd rather just not have that. We'll be able to see if a file's been selected because there'll be a file name listed there. But please rearrange the UI elements so that the send button and recommendation is at the top of the screen with the remaining elements below. I figured that you're only going to select the window and the hand history once, and you want at the top of the UI, you want to have the button and the recommendations coming through. So just a thought there to like rearrange the order of the buttons there. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of the funny characters on that button. There you go. So see attached image. Okay, let's see how we go with that. Okay, so let's apply those changes. Accept. And main.js. Okay, so let's give that a save and a run and we'll see how we've got on. Okay, let's see if we've got any further here. So there you go. So the windows are now select. Oh, so I can see the windows there. I just can't select one. Thought we had it working there. Okay, so that's strange, isn't it? Select hand history. Let's see if that issue's gone away on the button. It has, and it is showing the file underneath there, so that's good. But this window selection is just not quite right, and I'm guessing that it's not going to let us. It doesn't even come up with an error that we've not selected a window this time. Nothing is getting sent though to the webhook, so it is not working even though there's no message coming up. Okay, make a couple of changes. Okay, so I've put thanks nearly there. The windows show in the drop down, but the drop down control is unreliable. After clicking the drop down, the list disappears again too quickly for me to select a window. Please fix. When showing the hand history file name, do not give it a background color, just show the text on its own. So I've just a preference there for the UI. Didn't quite like how it was showing that, and as we're asking for more, figured I'd throw that in there as well. Okay. Apply the changes to renderer.js. Accept. And index.html. Okay, remove the click event listener that was refreshing the window list, which caused the drop down to close. That sounds likely. Load the window list once at startup. Remove the background color from the file info display. Let the native select element handle the drop down behavior. Drop down should now work reliably, and the file name will appear as plain text without background color. Okay, sounds good. Let's run it again. Okay, so here we are. The drop down is working properly. Let's go to hand replayer. Great, that's showing a little screenshot. That is definitely the one that we want. And if we go in here, select the hand history. That is also correct. So we just need to make it narrower and longer, I think, by default. Other than that, let's see if it actually sends the data now to the webhook. Okay, so as I suspected might be the case, because we weren't getting that message to say that we haven't populated the previous parts, it's not sending anything. The button's just not working now. So that's the last thing I think we need to fix. So we've got our little screenshot here. We've got the text file, just to confirm. We just need to have this. Maybe we'll ask it to make it narrower and longer by default. So let's just run back over to cursor and hopefully that last thing, and then we'll wrap the video up. Okay, so I've done pressing the button, seems to do nothing now. Nothing happens in the UI and no data is received by the webhook. Please make the UI 25% narrower and 25% longer by default. Okay, so changing the UI size there. And now the send functionality. Wonder what it says was wrong with that. Okay, let's give that a go and see how we get on. Let's run the application again. Okay, here we go. So let's select the hand replayer. Perfect. Hand history. Perfect. Has not made the UI longer though, has it? Or narrower by the looks of it. Interesting. And let's click send. Okay, so that send's not working. So let's try Command Option I. Upload the debugger. Does not seem to be any messages in the console either. Actually, because the UI is not narrower, I'm wondering whether I just didn't save that before I ran it, and we've ended up with the same code as last time. So I need to save that, I think, and hopefully that may well be the problem. Okay, that looks better simply because the UI is narrower there. I actually meant to make the window narrower, not the UI. So it's quite funny that it did that. I actually meant it to do something more like that. So, but that does look narrower, so maybe I didn't save it last time. So let's go hand replayer, let's select hand history, and now let's try and click send. So now it's sending. We look over at make. It's sending, and there we go. Recommendation fold. It's gone all in on 3-bat. That's perfect, and it's accepting the HTML now. The HTML doesn't look in a weird format. Could do with an extra line under there, but other than that, that is looking good. So let's just make that one last fix about the window width, I think, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, thanks. You made the UI narrower, but I actually meant to make the window narrower. Sorry. Please can you make the window 25% narrower and 25% longer, and make the UI 90% of that width. Please also add a space between the action and the explanation parts of the response. So I'm just going to go with that. That should be basic. That shouldn't break anything. and then we should be good to go. And what I'll actually do is I'll actually disconnect it from my, I've got a really wide 48 inch, I think it is, a 5K monitor. So this is why I show individual windows, because if I was to show you that on this screen, you wouldn't be able to see it. So but I might just disconnect it and run it through my Mac so that you can see the poker window and the CoPilot side by side and see how that looks. Okay, so we're just going to make all these changes. All seems good. Remember to save this time. Just need to stop running the app. Save. Let's run that again. Let's see what we get. Okay, that already looks better. We've got it narrow. We haven't got any sort of title up here. It looks a bit plain, doesn't it? But other than that, it looks it's functional. We don't care at this stage. So hand replayer. That's giving us the screenshot. Select hand history. Put that in there. Again, we could do with this being a bit longer, so I don't have to scroll or drag the window out. But we can. That's fine. That's a small change, isn't it? And let's just run our make scenario again. Make sure that's running. Wait for new data. Click send. Okay, makes running. There you go. So action is fold. Our hand, king queen, struggles against a range of hands that were 4-bet all in. So there you go. That seems to be working as we'd want to. I'll just show you how that looks in make, and we'll leave the video there. Here we go. Here we are in make. This was that last response. So you can see that the screenshot got sent as buffer, and once that gets through to ChatGPT, we ask it to make the recommendations there based on the screenshot. So passing in the hand history for reference, and then the response is sent here, which is, we can see there. Actually, I figured I can just record the whole screen and actually crop this part of the screen. So hopefully this doesn't look too blurred when it comes out, but this is what it would look like side by side. So this could be, you could be playing on like a PokerStars or some other site here, or using a hand replayer like this to show the hand. But if I just go ahead and like select, let's go a bit back earlier into the hand. So go there, and if we click then send the recommendation, it should give us a recommendation based on this part of the hand. Okay, there you are. So it says the action is raised. So that's funny, because I'm sure that when we tried it earlier, the action was not raised. It was saying to call or something similar. It was saying something different. Maybe it's now figured out the positioning, because I asked it to describe the UI a little bit more in the prompt. So maybe now understands the scenario a little bit more. So I feel vindicated. It's raised to 25. So explanation, you're on the button with a strong hand, king, queen offsuit, raising to 25 cents. Helps to exert pressure and maintain an aggressive position while isolating Zermi. The hand history shows that Zermi has been consistently raising but not over committed, which suggests an aggressive line is best beneficial here. So that's really good. That's exactly the information that we want. So I think we'll wrap it up there. I think we'll call that a day. Thanks very much for watching. I hope that was useful. I hope that was interesting. Just think about all the other things that you could use this method for. So sending screenshots to ChatGPT to analyze and to then give you like a response. There's endless. I've used a fun example here using poker, but there's an endless list of things that you could potentially use this for. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like. And if you're interested in this kind of content, check out our Skool community in the description, where we go through a whole load more different projects, and you can download any of the projects that we work on in these videos. So thanks once again, and I'll see you in the next video.